Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I am very excited to be talking again about a character that needs a rework, that needs help, that needs to be made great. Now, of course, Jessica Jones still needs her tier 2 ability, so we are still waiting on that, but she does have a full kit. She does have an awesome Netflix series. I am going to plug it. If you haven't checked it out, you probably should. And she is going to be featured even further on the upcoming Defenders series. So my girl, Jessica Jones, she needs love, and she needs love in a big way. Even despite the fact that there are other characters in similar regards to her that have not gotten their tier 2 passives yet, they are still way better than her. I mean, Luke Cage is probably the very closest example and the closest clone to someone like Jessica Jones, but he is just far and away better than she is, which really just doesn't really make sense. The fact that she was modeled on him as far as, you know, the leadership goes, as far as the fact that they're kind of lovers and friends in the comics and stuff like that, she should really be better than she is. And so we're going to talk about, of course, guys, what's bad about the character, what's wrong with the character, and then the more important part, we're going to get into suggestions for how we can make this badass brawler even better. Now, the main problem that stems from Jessica Jones is actually not her leadership. I do really like it. I wish it had a shorter cooldown like Luke Cage with his uniform. And speaking of uniforms, guys, I really hope that Netmarble brings about eventually Jessica Jones's jewel uniform. It would look really cool, like as far as animations go. The skills would change. She might even get a typing change to universal, which would be awesome. I love uniforms that change characters' typing and that radically alter their skill sets. And it would look awesome as well for me aesthetically because I love the color purple, despite how counterintuitive that sounds when talking about Jessica Jones. If you know about Jessica Jones anyways. So let's talk about her skills, because this is probably the worst part about the character. She doesn't have any real iframes, which is the first problem, and then she doesn't really have anything else. She's basically just, as you can see, a totally vanilla character. There's no stuns, there's no CC. She has fast animations and she has multi-hit skills, so she can like stun lock characters in Shadowland, but if that's your only claim to fame in this game, you need help. To boot, her telepathic resistance is just not enough. There are not enough characters that deal sufficient and significant mind damage for this to be a real thing, and they really need to make this more inclusive and more reflective of the fact that she has such a strong mental resistance to other mind controlling enemies. So I think that they should improve this by adding, charm resistance and maybe adding some other immunities that would reflect the character, but especially charm resistance. And especially with how popular Enchantress is in PvP, it would make sense, and it would actually make the character quite a bit stronger for those situations. Despite the fact that she has a type disadvantage, blast versus combat, it could make for an interesting, cat fight. As far as her skills go, there is a lot to be desired. All of her skills, as I've said, have no CC, no iframes. They really need a lot. So I think, despite the fact that there is a lot of jumping in her skills, she probably needs like full iframes on her 5th skill and perhaps her 2nd skill or her 3rd skill. I think giving her 2 iframes would be justifiable given the fact that she has no CC on any of her skills, and it would make her a lot more survivable and a lot tankier because you could rely on those iframes to dodge really big hits. But let's go into Villain Siege and check out just why Jessica Jones struggles with her kit. We're actually just going to go into the normal mode 1, which is pretty easy. It's the middle tier 1, and we're just going to see even there that Jessica Jones struggles to really do anything outside of the damage output, and even then her damage output is really not that high. And speaking of Gwenpool, we're going to be talking about her in a way very, very shortly. So we're going to just go full frontal against Kingpin. As you can see with her fast animations, she can like stun lock enemies and they just have nothing to do. But this is just on one-on-one play, and this is just in game modes where they can be stunned, like Shadowlands and Villain Siege. This is not going to happen in World Boss, and it's not going to happen in like Alliance Battle and other PvP modes. So I mean, it might happen in PvP modes, but you have to get very lucky. And as you can see here, even I'm not able to stun lock Kingpin because I need higher attack speed. I'm not going to kill him because I want to get the bonus rewards, but you can also see that she's actually quite susceptible to damage, which again kind of betrays the character. I mean, Jessica Jones in the comics, in the Netflix series, she takes a beating and she keeps on kicking. She's an absolute punching bag. So Jessica Jones, to me, also needs some other reworks. In addition to the charm resist on her 4th star passive skill, telepathic resistance, I really wish that they would also add, maybe as a tier 2 bonus or maybe as part of her 4-star passive, some kind of passive healing. And I spoke earlier about Gwenpool, and I think Gwenpool is the perfect example for this. Gwenpool is the only character that we have in the game right now that has the max HP recovery 1%, and I think that they should extend this to Jessica Jones. I know that it might feel bad because Gwenpool right now is a unique character in that sense, but I think that they would really fit thematically with Jessica Jones, and it would make the character a lot more usable by a long shot. They could change it a little bit. They could make it 2% when she gets below 50%, or 2% when she gets below 80% or something like that. They could change around the numbers. It doesn't matter too much as long as it's not lower than 50%, of course. But I feel like she does need some kind of native healing, some kind of triggerable healing or passive healing. I prefer passive healing because we don't have it a lot right now, so it's still a novelty. But even if they introduce some kind of triggerable heal on one of her skills, they could even have something where, and this is getting a little bit more kooky, but if she gets, a 20 hit or a 30 hit counter, because a lot of her attacks are multi-hit, if she can build up 30 hits before she gets counter-attacked, then she heals for like 10% or something like that. That would be a whole new mechanic to introduce into the game. Probably not going to happen as far as Netmarble goes, but it is interesting to think about and to spark conversation. Another thing that I think Netmarble could do for Jessica Jones is give her some kind of remove debuff, again, to go with the fact that she's so telepathically resistant. It would fit very well with the meta right now, and it would make her kind of like a Wasp-like character, and she's still unfarmable, so it doesn't make the skill, it doesn't remove the premiumness from that ability. So that would be nice, and they could actually add it to her leadership and reduce the cooldown a little bit, and that could still fit the character's power level quite well. And then the final thing that I think that they could do for Jessica Jones is to give her, and this is probably the one we're going to get, something like temporary physical immunity or invincibility on one of her skills for like 3 seconds or 5 seconds, or like an immunity. So I might be calling it here, guys. We might just get a 5-second immunity on collateral damage like we got with Black Bolt, like we got with Black Panther. But I think that Jessica Jones needs more than that. That would just be a baby step. I think she also needs like a damage buff. I think she also needs some more pieces to fit thematically with the character, because right now it just doesn't feel like any other character. It just feels very normal and very average. She doesn't stand out in any way, and Jessica Jones is a very unique character. She has a very specific and very kind of traumatic backstory, and I think that they should dive into that a little bit more, especially with the Defender series coming up, especially with the Netflix and stuff like that. And they should really do more for Jessica Jones because she is a pretty beloved character. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts are on Jessica Jones. If you're a huge fan, let me hear you roar, guys. Tell me what you think they should change for Jessica Jones, how they should improve the character, how they should make her the badass that she is meant to be with that leather jacket and those boots, guys. So of course, as always, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.